Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bladensburg, Town of Bladensburg, that is, Council Work Session for Monday, July 13th, 2026. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching online or took the time to brave the heat and join us in person. Glad to have you here. We are now called to order. The next item on the agenda for today is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Dixon. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any corrections or amendments to the agenda before calling the vote? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. The agenda is approved as presented. Next on the agenda, we'll move down to the approval of meeting minutes for Monday, June 8th work session. Is there a motion to approve? Not all at once.
So moved.
Moved by
second.
Councilmember McBride. Is there a second?
I second, Madam Mayor.
Second, thank you. Seconded by Councilmember Dixon. Any corrections or comments regarding the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. The meeting minutes for June 8th are approved. Tonight, we don't have any items under unfinished business, so we'll proceed into new business, beginning with item E regarding 52nd Avenue update, and I'll turn it over to the town administrator at this time.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before we jump in, I just wanted to take note. Obviously, you can see our finance director is not here this evening. He had a family emergency come up this afternoon, which required him to head out a little bit early. But he just wanted me to make sure everybody was aware. And when we get to the council meeting portion of the evening, I'll just share a couple of updates from him. With that noted, the next topic is 52nd Avenue update. Unfortunately, this afternoon it was made known that SHA was going to be unavailable to come this evening. So that does alter our plan a little bit, but I did want to provide a few updates to council about where we are since our last conversation on June 8th, which stemmed from a pretty robust meeting back in May with SHA. Just a very brief overview for those that might be watching. This part of the street is or was part of a pilot project a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. We're now at a point trying to determine what the best path moving forward is, and it was temporarily turned into a one-way road. There was a substantial amount of work that needed to be done just to maintain it. I want to take a moment to thank our team and SHA for a tremendous effort that took place starting last Thursday, July 9th, and then continued on Friday, July 10th, and then continued today on July 13th of a joint cleanup along 52nd Avenue. They braved the heat and realigned barriers. Thank you to SHA for coming back out on Friday and putting up the flexi. What am I trying to think of? Yeah, flexibles. Thank you. Which look fantastic. They cut down a tremendous amount of shrubbery, removed that trash was collected. And just this afternoon, I was driving up there and I saw a number of people walking that road again. And so I just wanted to say thank you to our team and to SHA for making that joint effort possible. It really was much needed, and I know that the residents in that area truly appreciate it, and anybody that traverses that road. So next points, we shared with SHA a draft MOU And for transparency, one of the things that we were calling for, and I think we heard loud and clear from the joint meeting, was while this is a state-owned road, to get us to the point of redesign and effectuating the permanent transition to a one-way road, we're about 2 years out. So what is the plan moving forward? And I think we're kind of at a crossroads of, do we remove the barriers completely, or do we continue with this program while we're trying to await the final design? So I think while there are a number of different options, one of the things that we used as a starting point was quarterly joint cleanups. I think we saw how effective they were. After speaking with Derek last week, after he reviewed the draft MOU, I know that their team is spread pretty thin. There was some concern about whether or not that would be feasible. I think Purnell would agree one of the things that was most beneficial and something that we are desperately in need of are some of the equipment that they have. And so I think we're still trying to hammer out what those details will be exactly. But I think the effort this past week shows that there are some opportunities to work together to move forward. So we don't know exactly what that will look like. We hope to have a draft response from them over the next couple of weeks. It's with their in-house attorneys right now. So, that's something that we're going to continue to hammer through over the next several weeks to bring back to you. But just wanted to give you guys kind of an update on where we were, the effort that both teams, the town and the state, made, and figuring out what the next steps will be as we move forward.
Thank you for that update. And after you let me know they couldn't make it, I want to confirm Senator Augustine said he will plan to come to that next meeting when SHA is here. So, and he was glad to hear that there's been progress with conversations. So I think having him as part of that in September will be really helpful. But any comments or questions from the council before we move on? Councilmember Dixon?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brian, did they mention when the MOU will be ready?
Yes, so long before September. So it's with legal right now. He hopes to have a draft back to us within the next couple of weeks. So we'll look over it. Definitely we'll update council since we have our retreat coming up. Hope to have some updates by then. I think the benefit also of, unfortunately, this being pushed back, but one of the benefits is they also hope to have a 30% complete design to present to council as well of the redesign of 52nd Street in September. So we'll kind of hopefully have a 2-for-1 then.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councilmember Brown, you had a comment or question?
Thanks. I was going to ask the same thing about the MOU, and hopefully we can, get it in time enough to review and look over it and make our comments and stuff. But yeah.
Absolutely. I'm pushing. I did make it clear when our retreat was, so really trying to have something for us to respond to by then. So agreed.
That is all good. And we'll look forward to that conversation coming up in September. But now for another engaging conversation, Councilmember Blunt, it's over to the Port Towns bus operations, which I know you are very passionate about. Yes. And from the update in the packet, it sounds like there's been some interesting conversations. It's really not the Port Towns bus anymore. It's becoming more of the Bladensburg bus. But, so I'll turn it over to the administrator for the update.
It wasn't working, but I was like, say something, but I couldn't say anything. So
It's all right. That's why we're here. You have the mic.
Do you want to lead off?
Your mic's not on, Councilmember.
No, actually, you can start off and then I'll push my way in.
Fill in the
Where I went in, Yeah. Okay.
All right, sounds good. So I think the mayor kind of teed it up perfectly. This several years ago was a joint effort, collaboration with all of the port towns. I think we're on bus number 2 now, and it's kind of nearing end of life. So it was a great collaborative effort. I think some of the other towns, the participation has decreased dramatically. I think we were analyzing, the last year or so of ridership, and it's about 95% Bladensburg usage. Comar Manor has a resident or two that hops on, but it is definitely being utilized heaviest by us. We do all of the coordination of the scheduling. We house the bus, and really right now Comar Manor is really just doing the administrative piece, and the 2 part-time drivers are on their payroll. So what we had a conversation about was understanding those realities. Does it still make sense for Comar Manor to administer this program, or does it make more sense for Bladensburg to take full ownership of the bus, of the 2 part-time personnel, and save the 10% administrative fee that we are currently paying Comar Manor? They are eager, I would say, to have this kind of transition over. I think one of the logistical pieces that we spoke about was whatever the value of the bus currently is, we could figure out a way to rectify those payments, whether it's with in-kind rides for the Comar Manor residents for X amount of months, or until that value of the bus is paid off. They're flexible there, and there's some wiggle room. I think the other piece to this is it does give us even more flexibility about how we want to use the bus moving forward, both scheduling, and we would still theoretically make it available to the other Port Town communities. But it does give us more flexibility as a community to determine what and how we want to use it. I think the other side is this gives us a little bit of a runway. I'd estimate we probably have 12 to 18 months of life left in that bus, with a few repairs here and there. So thinking about what do we want to do next? We did receive a grant this year for replacement of a couple of vehicles. Unfortunately, I think we might have glossed over the fine print and the stipulations around the tonnage of the bus that we would have to purchase would require CDL, and would probably be bigger than what we would actually need. So we'll go back to the drawing board on that, but this gives us some runway and some flexibility. So I bring it to council as I promised the town manager I would do, and have this kind of conversation and see where we want to go from here.
Thank you for the update. And Councilmember Blunt, if you would also chime in, please.
Yeah, well, I was shocked to know that we were paying them anything, honestly. That's just, I was shocked that we were paying them anything. But the $60,000, maybe I'm not understanding, what is that used for?
Can you speak to what that goes to directly?
Sure. So that goes towards predominantly the riders. We're essentially we pay per rider right now, even though it comes back to us in a sense. That also pays for maintenance, gas, and for the 2 part-time drivers.
But, so Coma Manor doesn't pay for the drivers, we pay for the driver.
Correct.
So, but what money was,
That's not all of the driver's salary, but that's the majority of it, yes.
but we pay for that?
Yes,
And because they were handling all the paperwork,
right.
that's where the administrative fee came in that was paid to Comar Manor at the time. This was, I think, before any of us got on the council. It's just, that's how it was set up. They would facilitate, you call that number, they schedule, they are responsible for scheduling the rides to pick up the seniors, and then they're responsible for communicating with the drivers and scheduling them. I don't believe we've ever had dispatch responsibilities.
Well, we didn't, I just didn't know we
Okay.
was paying them a fee until I heard it. But also, the money that the residents pay, where did that money go to?
So that goes towards the ride itself, but it's such a nominal fee, it doesn't actually typically cover the overall cost of,
Because per person, we're paying what,
I think it's,
30 or 40 per ride or something?
Correct, yes.
So if they pay $2 or $3, it's not, it's something,
yeah,
but
it
it's
doesn't-
not covering the full amount.
And I guess maybe I'm still understanding, we're paying third, I guess if you look at how much it costs, like as we said through COVID, what we were paying for the ride. But it's just, the numbers just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, so when who collects the money?
So right now, Comar Manor is collecting the money as part of their administrative process.
So they keep the money. They keep that money plus 10%.
So they're using that money to pay for the bus drivers, like their salary, and for any maintenance above and beyond. Typically, we'll have to go into our pockets if, maintenance required over a certain percentage or dollar amount.
That means the drivers are basically employed by Colmar Manor?
They're on Comar Manor's payroll.
Okay.
So,
And if Bladensburg,
60.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Councilman.
the 60,000. Okay, no, go ahead. Captain. Make it make sense to me, that's all.
So if we become the primary for the bus, are we going to be employing these drivers?
We would take
By the
that on as a
town?
responsibility, yes.
And also the bus is going to be replaced within 12 to 18 months?
Well, I think that's a guesstimation on the life expectancy of the current bus. Whether we decide to replace it, whether we decide to discontinue the program altogether, I think that's kind of the decision point, but one that we don't have to necessarily make tonight, but that's, the medium-term discussion that will have to be had.
And I think the benefit is we can get better control over these rides because honestly, by us not having the dispatch piece of it, we don't know what's being used, how many trips until the administrator gets the bill, reviews everything, and is signing off on them. And I just think it goes back to something Councilmember Blunt, you said a couple years ago, which was we should be more strategic and say, on this day, this is where the bus goes. On this day, it goes here, because it's wasteful
Yes,
to
it
have 2 or
is.
3 people on there and taking it here, there, and everywhere and racking up those per person fees. I think we have to cut back. We've talked about budget constraints. We can't afford to keep doing this. And when you look at the number of people being served, there's other things that could be done with that money. And remember, you even brought up Uber. What if we did, what do you call them, Uber passes instead of that? I think another option is, and like you said, we've got time to figure out the next step, but another option is we have transportation companies right here in the business park. We could easily contract with them to say, twice a week, we need you to handle
Monday,
senior
Monday,
rides.
yeah.
And then we're not dealing with vehicle maintenance, we're not dealing with
Employees.
part-time employees, payroll expenses, and all the rest. And they're professionals at this, so
Yeah.
and they're great when we use them for town events. So I feel like we could explore that.
Right.
So my ask would be, Councilmember Blunt, if you wouldn't mind working with the town administrator on this to put something together to say, based on what you see at the senior, resident level, what is appropriate in terms of what this service could be?
And I did do that already. 'cause
Okay.
I know that the senior transportation would take them anywhere they need to go within Prince George's County, and that's free. So it's not, I mean, they're not losing there. They could have transportation there. Except for, they do want to go to the casinos and stuff. I'm against it. I'm against it. So that's just me. I'm against them going gambling. That's just me though. But I'd rather go your route, because Emerson House, that bus can pull up in front of Emerson House, drop one person off, turn around and come back and drop two off, then go back, come back at Emerson House about 7 times. Make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, and I know Coleman Manor wants no control of it at all.
Right.
I kind of heard him say, "No, y'all take it over." I heard that come out of the administrative mouth.
Yeah.
So my thing, I think, is I like the other way, because we don't have to pay. That $60,000 can be used
Reduced.
for something else.
And Councilmember Blunt, I don't know if everyone caught it, but the other service that she mentioned is the bus. The bus.
It's free.
Is the one
It's
that's
free.
It's free.
It goes all across the county. So to your point,
I posted it
even
too
if
on
we
social
have to
media.
scale back this resource, we're not leaving the seniors without.
No,
these
you're
services,
not.
Because that's already a service that.
Yeah,
they
Mike,
have
Mayor,
access to.
Mayor Mike.
Sorry, Mr. Gray. I didn't push the button hard enough. My apologies. But I was just tagging on to say what Councilmember Blunt mentioned was a service called The Bus, which is prevalent in Prince George's County. So if we have to reduce services with this formerly called Port Towns Bus, at least there's still a service available to the seniors, and that's actually free. Whereas with ours, it's subsidized. They pay a few dollars and the town pays the rest. So,
I agree. I totally agree with going the route with Mayor James in terms of contracting someone which costs less. And not only that, looking at replacing the bus 12 to 18 months. What is the bus going to cost? That's another thing. Can the town afford a new bus right
I
now?
just don't think they should even try.
Or you can get a grant too.
and the Vito brought this up before in terms of your question about the replacement. So we did get the MEA grant for an electric bus, but it's a formula, so it doesn't cover everything. It covers up to, what is it, the cost of what a combustion engine bus would be?
Never quite that.
The fine print.
Yeah, the fine print. It's 75% of the additional cost of an EV. So let's say a traditional bus cost $100,000. Let's just, for conversation's sake, and an EV bus cost $200,000. The grant would pay the $75,000, which is 75% of the difference. So the town would still be on the hook for $125,000. So beneficial in some respects, but we also found out other fine print pieces. The categories of buses that are available, it's really looking at larger vehicles that require CDL licenses, and both Public Works
that's money.
and the current bus drivers that we have right now don't have CDL licenses.
Okay, we really don't want to leave the seniors stranded or anything like that. We want to make sure, that we're providing services to the residents of Bladensburg. But at the same time, we want to be careful how we are spending.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you said, we don't want to leave them without services, but the bus is there and it's
Right,
free.
the bus is there.
They're not out of service, because a lot of Metro Access, that also
Right.
it takes them wherever they want to go. I mean, so they're not left out of any services at all. And that's
Well,
the
if
good
it's-
thing about the transportation. Now, I just get rid of it. I mean, honestly, that's just what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Because I can't understand that 60,000 and they're paying, and then he doesn't. Well, I know Coleman Man are probably listening. They don't want to pay for nothing. I agree. I'm just sorry I had to say
Well, I
it.
think, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had to say it.
Okay, Councilmember Hunt, hold on, Councilmember Brown, and I'll go to McBride, and then back to Ms.
Okay.
Wood. She was waiting for a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. But yeah, because we've been talking about this for a while, and it's like, make it make sense, but, and probably initially when the agreement, came into place, it did make
It was a
sense.
different time.
But now, because, as we had discussed before, it's like, you have companies here, and and they have different size buses, and and I don't know if we'll talk about that too. But one week we may need the big bus, and the next week we may need only a 10-passenger bus. I mean, just having that flexibility, working with the company that's their business. This is what they do. So that makes sense. And like you said, we're not leaving our seniors, we're not leaving them, stranded or whatever without transportation. And stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And it would provide better service, I believe to the residents. And then from a budget standpoint, yeah, it would, take that piece off of our books, or a reduction, and I think that's, would be wise. But although we're just kind of having a conversation about it right now, but yeah.
And one thing that you said, Councilmember, kind of sparked a thought. Would it even be possible if we had some sort of public-private partnership with a transportation company? So we say, we've gotten this grant, could we pass it through to them so they pay the difference toward the vehicle? So we're essentially donating the $75,000, let's say, and then they pay the difference because it's helping their fleet regardless, and giving them greater flexibility because it is an EV, and then work out some sort of contractual partnership for X number of years, and then we revisit it after that point. So that's where I'm going. Save the town money, still be able to help the residents. We don't want to give back grant money to the state because that you can get dinged when you go to apply the next time. So I don't want to lose that, but maybe there's a path forward that just doesn't have us paying for this and, not using those resources more wisely.
Yeah, because that fine print there, it does, it's still costing the town more money, so.
Councilmember McBride, thank you for waiting your turn.
Thank you. My only question is, so this is supposed to service the seniors? Or can it service the different apartment complexes inside of Bladensburg?
If they're senior.
As long as they're seniors, I mean.
Traditionally, Sean and Purnell, you're going to have to help me, but I think it was more so geared towards seniors.
Yes, it was.
And I think there may have been special circumstances where if there was a town event and we needed transportation, then we could
Pick up
reach
people.
out and ask them to pick up people. But the way it was set up with the 4 towns back in the day was primarily for seniors.
seniors.
Senior. Okay. I had a question. Never mind. I'll hold that.
Okay.
But
And Mayor?
like when I found out that they were not paying to get on the bus, I was very upset. I had to call Miss Blue. Y'all know I like to say names. Miss Blue, and let her know why did her senior club didn't think that they had to pay. It didn't. Oh well, we was told no. I don't know who told y'all that because y'all have to pay like everybody else because you're riding the bus. Because she was under understanding by Coma Manor that they didn't have to pay. So they started paying.
And Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilmember Brown.
yeah,
Because it was under their membership.
and,
They just
And to that point with Councilmember McBride, once we look at it and restructure it or something, it may be able to, like I said, with special events occasions, and to put some modifications in there where it can kind of service, some of the other buildings in the town as well. That's all.
Yeah, that's going to have to be really restricted because.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Mr. Hall.
That's like you
Your
said,
microphone.
That's gonna be a tricky thing. So
Microphone.
you can tell him no, but you can tell him. So I think that's why when it came out years and years ago, it was strictly appointed to seniors.
Makes sense. And Mr. Wood,
Well, I was just
sorry.
going to say, so a couple of things. One, yeah, this would have greater flexibility because when it was initially purchased, it was used, I believe state money was used. And so the requirements and covenants around it required that it be used predominantly for seniors. But when we purchased the second bus, it was with local dollars. And so there's greater flexibility and those requirements no longer apply. So if the town were to take over ownership, we would be able to do with it as we desired. I think there would be a desire to, keep with some spirit if the other communities, all of a sudden ridership spiked and they wanted, then that would be something to look at. And then two, I think to the point that the mayor made a while back about Uber and other ride shares. I was at a conference a few years ago, and I know that there are some communities that have done that and set up various different structures with Uber and other types where individuals over a certain age can get X amount of dollars, or an Uber will take you within X amount of miles of a community for free. Or, there's a number of different arrangements. So if that's something that the town wanted to look at, we wouldn't be the first community to do that. And they have an infrastructure set up to partner with municipal organizations to set things like that up. So just wanted to.
But I know we've been on this for a long time, but they will have it like a setback because some Uber drivers do not help you with your packages, and seniors need help, and I see they don't help with the wheelchairs, the walkers, they don't help. They just, it's crazy, but it's up to the, yeah, so that's the only thing I would say.
So, Brian, what if Coleman Manor decided to withdraw before we come to some conclusion? And my other part question. And my other question is, who covers the insurance for the bus? Is it the town or Coleman Manor?
Currently, Colmar Manor covers the insurance
Okay.
that's built into.
Okay.
Again, all of it is kind of prorated based on usage. So there's the aggregate cost, and then per ride it's broken down. So we're still paying for a significant portion of the insurance. And to your first point, if Colmar Manor, I'm not saying they basically said that they're walking away, but
Sounds that way.
they basically said they're walking away. So, yeah.
But are they paying for the insurance, or are we paying for the insurance?
So the insurance is technically with
Yeah.
Colmar Manor, but the aggregate cost of the bus per year is broken down per rider. And so we're still paying for a significant portion of the insurance. We're just paying it through the per ride cost.
Right.
So that's part of the 60,000.
If I get that $60,000, still not making sense to me.
Yeah, so I think because we could
Yeah,
talk about this in
exactly.
circles. I think we're at the point where there's agreement that we want to reevaluate this because we don't think it's the best use of
Yeah.
town dollars.
Yep.
Getting it under the town's realm of responsibility makes sense while we're figuring out with Councilmember Blunt a path forward. Phasing it out is certainly an option, given we have the bus, but also an option is pursuing the grant and possibility of partnering with a local business to see if that's even possible. If the answer is no, then we just have to send a letter to MEA saying we can't accept the grant, due to financial constraints. We
wanna do
can't
that.
keep our commitment and just, again, move forward with consolidating this down and collapsing the service, because it's just extremely expensive. So I think that's where we are in terms of when you send us the summary from the meeting, there's agreement that we cannot continue. It's not you, it's us.
So I'll draft up a formal process with Colmar Manor about how we're going to execute this and bring that before. It would have to go before both councils. So.
Thank you.
Councilmember Blunt for the last word.
I like the idea that you said, because for the lack of not saying anything else, we're done with that process.
I second that
Let's do
one.
something, let's just do something new. We're done with that.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. There was a higher demand at the time. That demand just isn't there anymore to justify the cost. So, yeah. We have young seniors who are driving themselves around and they're walking through the community and all of that. So we have to get with the times. All right. So speaking of getting with the times, PAL's project poster presentation is next up on the agenda. I'll turn it over to you, Town Administrator Wood.
Yeah, so they've been making their way around the port towns. They were supposed to come up to us next. The boards have, well, they've disappeared. We'll find them. Not from us. They were recently with Cottage City. But are you guys familiar with the PALS project that took place? I guess it was last semester, so last spring. And some of the designs for the Port Town communities. Maybe not. Okay, so a recap of what the PALS project is and what they do. So the PALS project is a partnership with the University of Maryland, and they work with undergrad and graduate students on a number of different projects, right? So towns, municipalities, yep, all across the state can submit for the PALS project for them to do any number of things. It can be something like we had, they can do engineering, they can do statistical analysis, budget breakdowns, and they have students work on these projects throughout the semester. Each project typically costs about $10,000. And part of that goes towards the cost of executing the project, whether they need to purchase data sets, if there's travel required for the students, whatever they may be. And then part of that goes to offset the administrative cost for their advisor, whether that's a professor or whomever it may be. One of the projects that was grant funded last year was the placemaking and design for the Port Towns communities at different, I guess you could say, prominent locations in each community that connected each of the communities. So for us, we had a couple of different bridges. And so what it was I'm thinking about how do we denote this as a Port Town community. And so they designed these kind of beautiful pocket parks with similar colors of yellow, orange, purple, and blue, I believe it was. And each community had a slightly different design and a different location, but it created the through line that these were all Port Town communities. There's some beautiful renderings that are on posters that we were supposed to get tonight. Unfortunately, they're not here. But the reason that it's also kind of time sensitive is we received grant funding again from the state, and part of what BCCE was looking at was, do we want to invest some of those dollars into the next phase of this placemaking and these designs, which would be kind of the engineering aspect of it, and understanding what the fabrication of these types of pocket parks would cost. We know that each one would be, north of probably $100,000, but this would be the next step in that process. And so, that PALS project would probably be a little bit more expensive, closer to $30,000. But again, it's grant funded, and would kind of be that through line. There's quite a bit of interest in it. So what I would propose is for the visuals to you to actually be able to see what was done by these young people, which was quite impressive, is to bring that to the retreat, so that you guys will be able to see that. Each town is kind of talking about the elements that they liked, what they may not like, and so that will go into the input as we prepare the next PALS request for this fall. Hopefully
Thank you for that overview. Any questions or comments for the town administrator? I think we look forward to seeing the visuals at the retreat. Councilmember Dixon?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In regards to this pilot project, what services the town has to offer? Does it have to provide public works, public safety, or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Completely. So the next phase would be completely done by the students. This would be for us. It's actually in a public location already, something that we already take care of. This would just be a redesign.
How is this figure determined?
The $30,000 or the
Yeah.
That's not in the packet. I think what you're looking at is for the Hamlet Woods project, the next item. We're not there yet. Sorry.
Sorry, I think.
Almost there, almost there. Couple more items.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, we will get to that.
All right. So if there are no more questions, we can drop down, get closer to it under Town Manager's report.
Yep. Yeah, so we can jump down to that.
Oh, yeah.
So the pilot program, there's a briefing in your packet there. So the Hamlet Woods project,
That's the one I was talking about.
yeah. So this has been one that has been ongoing for a number of years now. I think they originally came to the town almost this time last year with a proposal for payment in lieu. Just to rehash, this is 59 units of workforce housing that will be available. And Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to be ready end of or mid-August?
Mid-August, actually, I rode through the property today. They're probably, I'd say, 85% complete. They're working on the last section, and mid-August is when their final grand opening is supposed to be.
So they are well on their way and well past substantial completion at this point, which is very exciting. This gives a breakdown of kind of where the funding came from. There's been significant investment from the state, from the county, and private dollars. What they were looking for is essentially a payment in lieu of taxes. They received a similar deal or structured a similar deal with the county, which was essentially a 50% reduction in their overall tax rate. And they have now come to the town asking for or proposing something similar. What we have before us is two different options. What was proposed by Hamlet Woods was essentially $500 per unit. And so, sorry, let me back up a little bit. So looking at the assessed value, and this folds into the recommendation that I have. These are based on 2023 numbers. And so it was estimated that the project would be assessed at approximately almost $8 million, $7,972,000. What was proposed was, again, $500 per unit as a pilot with an escalator of 2% at the 1, 10, 20, and 30-year mark. What we countered at, or what we're proposing to counter at, is a 600 unit dollar per unit starting threshold with the same escalator. And so it essentially breaks down to the structure that they had with the county is about a 50% reduction. They're asking for essentially the same thing from the town. The numbers that are proposed here are closer to 43% reduction, which is still fairly favorable. And the reason I think there's value in what the town is proposing is it goes back to the original assessed value dollar that these numbers are generated off of, which are 2023. We all know that the assessed value since 2023 has gone up significantly more. We estimate that the value is probably closer to $10 to $12 million at this point, which would, if we were to restructure this deal in today's terms, would dramatically increase the per unit cost versus what you see here. So 43% structured deal is still, I think, better than if they were to go out and do a market assessment today. And even if we agreed to 50%, it would still probably be higher than what we're proposing here. So that's the broad strokes of it. Sue Ellen, and part of the reason that this took a year to get to this point is Sue Ellen had to dig through the state code defined where we would be able to actually do this. The language that was used at the county level was specific to the county and did not allow municipalities to set up a pilot program. And so there was a great deal of digging that was involved, and obviously with a number of other things that were on our town attorney's plate, this kept getting pushed back, but we did eventually find it, or she did eventually find it. So that's what's here before you. There is a little bit of a clock, given the status of the project at this point. But I wanted to bring this up for conversation and discussion, and then we would use that as the final framework. And again, with a desire not to push this off to September, if we had the final framework, if this is what council was okay with, we would draft this and do a final vote at the retreat, if that's something that council wished to do.
So thank you for that overview of the pilot project. Council, any comments or questions regarding the proposed payment? I have a few, but go ahead, Councilmember Dixon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brian, in regards to what happened if a property is sold to another owner? How would that affect on the pilot? Would it be, does the pilot still stay in effect?
Great question. That would be language that would be included in the contract. Typically, it stays with the property, not the owners, in my experience.
And this is a full 30 years, right?
Correct.
Okay. And did you mention how does the 600 unit figure determine? Did you mention that? Oh, it was determined?
So the $600 unit, $600 per unit, to be honest, was determined before I got here, but it is essentially, the idea behind it was to kind of find a middle ground between what Hamlet Woods was proposing, which was 50%, reducing it, but still allowing the project to go forward. And I think at the time when it was originally proposed, they had built their financial model around receiving a certain level of relief in taxes. And so, so this is, I think, is that attempt at meeting the middle ground.
So, Councilmember, this is to tag on to that. So when they came to the meeting a year or two ago, they were specifically advocating for more financial support from the town. We did not agree to that. We said we could be open and discuss what the town could do, but they were trying to get their financing together. So the numbers you see here about how their financing is stacked through Prince George's County Housing Investment Trust Fund loan, all those things, those loans that you see in the first paragraph, those are the things that they worked on to line up their financing.
Okay.
And then in going to the county passed legislation CR-036 2023, giving them authority to also give them that 50% tax relief. And so given that the county's budget is not Bladensburg's budget, so we cannot afford a 50%, reduction in that revenue from taxes. I think what Vito and Mr. Wood put together here, compromising, saying we can't go as low as 500, we could potentially consider 600 per unit, because now our services have increased. This is a rental. Sorry, my sinuses are on 1,000 right now. The services that the town is offering are not what they cost 2 or 3 years ago. That's one. Number two, we're now doing apartment rental inspections that are led by code enforcement. That is another level of service that we're providing. Typically, whenever there's multifamily housing in the town, cost for service for public safety goes up. Same thing for emergency services for the fire department. So the reason we can't go as low as what they're asking for in this first column is because those services come at a cost to us, and we can't provide them at a deficit. And so I think, and Vito, he's good with these numbers. Mr. Tonelli, I think and Mr. Wood did a good job of saying, what we can do is offer you 2% for years 1 through 10. We can go up to 3% for, years 11 through 20, and then the escalation would be 4% for years 21 to 30. And then they just broke out, here's what we would get over the 30 years on our formula versus their formula. Our formula, yes, they would be paying 1.5, almost 1.6. But when you look at the services that they're getting over 30 years, it more than justifies us coming in at that rate to negotiate. Does that sort of
Yeah.
help?
Thanks.
And the other, absolutely everything that the mayor said, and typically these are agreed to at the outset, and so that's why you see all the breakdown of where they're receiving the dollar amounts, because normally this kind of looks more like a credit enhancement agreement, and so that helps with the lending on the private side to see that government entities are backing this project. So I think that was the original thought, but they were still able to get the financing needed to make this project a reality.
So will it cover the public safety and code enforcement?
Overall,
Yeah,
no,
no, okay.
no. But any new development
So,
typically doesn't. That's, yeah, when you're looking long-term, that's why you always want that balance of businesses and other things that are not gonna drive up calls for service, versus, certain residential. And
Thank you. Back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And just to clarify, though, when you say it won't cover services, so with the owner proposed amount, that would not be enough
No.
to justify the services that we would still have to provide. We'd be operating at a deficit. So at least we're coming
Gets
in
us much closer.
flat. It's not a revenue generator, obviously, but at least it helps to cover those services for the apartment inspections annually, any work that has to be done by Public Works, the public safety services that they're going to get. And even, we contribute to the fire department to help offset their expenses. And so ambulance runs, fire truck runs, all of that, we're helping to just cover ourselves with those investments, so.
Thank you so much. That will give the residents more clarity. Thanks.
I think so. Any other comments or questions from Ward 2 council members? It's been a long time coming, so it's good to see they're getting closer to actually completing the construction. I will admit, I snuck up in there, 'cause curiosity. I had to see it. I was like, it's supposed to be ready this summer.
Yeah.
And they're close. So I look forward to the grand opening. And then Mr. Wood, so for this, for a formal vote from council, do we have this on the 7 o'clock agenda, or do we need to amend it to add this for approval, or does it need to go back to Sue Ellen first?
No, so there is specific language that Sue Ellen and a couple of pieces that Sue Ellen and Vito are finalizing. So I pulled it from the 7 o'clock agenda. I have a draft resolution, but I want to make sure it's right. So it will come back before you. But now that I know that this is exactly what council is good with, we can memorialize that in the resolution.
And then the only challenge is, I know they are very anxious to get decisions sooner rather than later, but typically anything financial, the council has to vote on at the 7 PM council meeting. So that, not unless we did a separate meeting, but that's why we don't do financial decisions in the work session. It's always in the actual council meeting. So just want you to be mindful of that so we can figure out if there's a separate meeting that we need to call, even if it's via Zoom, to resolve this. We wouldn't be able to do it at a retreat. It would have to be a formal meeting that's called to, address that.
Okay.
And not a work session, an actual
Meeting.
council meeting.
Okay.
Just want to mention
Good
that.
to know. Thank
Yep.
you.
No worries. And while you're off mute, did you want to touch on the previous item, the Gloves Up, Guns Down grant?
Oh, yes, sorry, I skipped over that. Just wanted to provide council an update. We're really excited with the progress. There was a kickoff in June. There is a camp coming up in, it's the first week of. Thank you, yes. I was like, wait a minute, blank dates are all, blurring together. So we know that this has been a labor of love, so a major thanks to the chief, to Alicia, who's been kind of spearheading it, to our county partners and other municipal partners in merging this with some funding that we received from the state, a grant for $78,000, and for all of the volunteers that have gone through the fingerprinting process to participate with our young people. Just to give an update, it will be twice a week, starting in, I believe, September. And we're hoping to have a total of, I believe it's 80 young people, 40 people, Greg, 40 people.
Right now, there's 19 signed up.
Microphone, chief.
Yes, right now, there's 19 youth that are signed up, and there's 6 additional spots, so I think they're doing 25.
Oh, 25. Okay, sorry. I was like, 80 sounds like a lot. 25. Half at the, why am I blanking? I'm thinking Stadium Armory, but it's not Stadium Armory. The Salvation Army, thank you. And the other half of the students will be at the county. The idea is that obviously those that are specific Bladenburg residents would be here at the Salvation Army. Obviously, it's a little bit closer, and so we're excited about the progress that that this program is making, and just wanted to know if there are any specific questions that council might have that we'd be able to bring back and answer, or any discussions.
Perfect. Thank you for that overview. Chief Frischkorn, any additional context you want to add to that?
Yes, just that the boxing clinic is going to be from the 27th to the 31st at the Salvation Army, and then the year-round program is going to start September 14th and run until June 30th of 27. We're going to be using Prince George's County Police Department District 3 as one location, and over here on Edmonston Road at the Salvation Army, and then there's also a gym that we'll be using for the program itself.
Is the District 3 location Barlow Road, or is
Yes.
that? Okay, got it. Any questions from the Councilmember Brown?
Thank you. So, interim chief, so give me those dates again. You said September the,
September 14th, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. That's the
okay.
actual program.
okay.
The clinic
okay.
starts next week. That's going to be just the boxing clinic itself, but the program runs a year long.
Okay.
What are the age group, chief?
I'm not sure of what age it starts at. I know when we went for the kickoff at the PAL program, there were really young kids up to, I think up to 18. So we had the kickoff for this and the registration at the PAL boxing program that the county had.
What percentage of young people from Bladensburg signed up, do you know?
I don't know the percentage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions,
Thank
Councilmember
you,
Brown?
Mayor. Mhm. And transportation, their parents will be responsible for transporting them?
Yes, we're not transporting them.
Okay.
Councilmember Blunt?
Have you all had the pleasure to meet Sugar Ray Leonard?
I haven't, but I know that they've been in talks to have him
to
and some
come.
others talk to the kids. I went on a tour of the Salvation Army, which I met the staff down there. It was nice. And then I went up to the gym where they're doing it at. And the guy that's running the gym seems like he's perfect for this, to work with the youth. They have a lot of experience.
Can we just be notified if there's Sugar Ray Leonard sightings, or if he's coming to a particular session? I felt something over here when that question was raised, so we need to make sure.
I went to school with them.
Okay,
You know
gotcha.
how old I am, right?
Salvation Army, big space for this? Like the space is kind of,
Pastor.
oh,
set up the ring and everything.
Okay. Oh, my mic is on.
You couldn't hear the chief, Mr. Gray? No.
Chief, they couldn't hear you. Can you repeat?
The light.
Can you repeat everything?
Salvation Army has a large gym, large basketball gym. Bags and the ring set up in there. And that's just one of the couple locations.
Exciting times, and just look forward to the impact of giving kids an alternative activity, something that's productive, and teaching them not to resort to violence in the street, just, putting that energy somewhere productive. So look forward to being able to come and check it out once it gets underway. At this time, so Chief was saying there's a clinic coming up, and then after that, the actual session starts in September. Do you want to give those dates one more time, Chief?
Yes, the clinic is the 27th of this month until the 31st at the Salvation Army. And then the program itself is September 14th, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. And the times for that's 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
For both 27 in September?
The
What time is that?
14th of September through June 30th of 2027.
What's the time for this month, the 27th?
The 27th, let me check, I have the,
It might be in the report, because I think you had
have it.
information about it in your monthly report, Chief.
yes, I have the flyer, my computer's not bringing it up.
All right, we will get that information to you. We're going to keep moving. The next item is under financial business for consideration for the council tonight is the decisions for grant and scholarship program recommendation. So with that, we'll turn it back over to the town administrator.
All right, I will not speak too much on this. This is more for council, and I believe there should be an Excel spreadsheet in your binders. So this is bringing back the conversation we had in June around a number of our grant applicants, and the recommendation from Ray was that this year the 3 applicants that applied for the educational scholarship did not necessarily meet the criteria. So we could roll that money into this pot, which would take the total amount available for grants to $15,000, which would leave us about $3,000 shy of the total request if all 9 applicants were funded at approximately $2,000. So we just did a little rubric as a conversational piece for you guys, and I will turn it over.
So we've been looking. Appreciate the rubric. One thing that I wanted to note is one of the groups, I know they scored a 3.7, but I would consider swapping out GHEP with Good Intentions, because Good Intentions is based in the Port Towns. We did get to see their youth program in action last year, and they really made a huge difference in the lives of those teenagers. I mean, things that we take for granted were very impactful for them. Just thinking about when they took the kids out on the river and how many of them grew up in this area and never even had been in that kind of experience and got to see their community in a whole different way and opened up to the sciences through that connection with AWS. So I think that would be my recommendation, that we do Kerrison, particularly given their support for immigration issues and what some of our residents are facing. They're an important partner. Anacostia Watershed Society, another great partner. Eco City, it goes without saying, tremendous partner. End Time Harvest Ministries, which will allow us to touch the youth. We Lead by Example is helping us touch the youth, but also older residents as well. And then, where is it? Good Intentions. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I good with my math, or did we go over? I think we're good. We needed 6. So we're essentially swapping rank 1 and 7 on the top sheet. Does that, putting it out there, but council, let me know your thoughts. I did hear some grumblings about the tiny print. I'm just saying. I'm just the messenger. It was fine. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, Brian. I don't know who said it. Look, I don't know who said it.
You heard through the grapevine.
I heard through the grapevine. Oh, I'm sorry, it was both ways. Mr. Wood, I have no idea. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Noted, Mayor, noted. Thank you. I will take that under advisement moving forward. Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Saving
doing.
paper,
How did
I
you
like
know?
it. It was very sustainable. Thank you, Councilmember Blunt.
We're a green community. I was doing my best.
You want me to run them back one more time? Or you think you got them all?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it
so
one more
we've
time.
got Kerrison, and then AWS, Eco City Farms, End Time Harvest Ministries, We Lead by Example, and then Good Intentions Foundation.
And the ones you didn't mention, the ones that.
Yeah, because we would have to pull money from somewhere else to be able to cover all of them. Yeah. And we just don't have the funding. But still, we're doing more than we have previously, so still making a good impact.
All right. Copy that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I'll send that out and we'll notify the recipients and move forward.
And then in the 7 o'clock meeting, we'll just need to do the formal vote.
Yep.
Sorry, Mr. Gray. And we'll just do the formal vote in the 7 o'clock meeting, since it's a financial decision of the council.
Okay.
For the ones that didn't make it, we have our discretionary funds. Can we give money to the, okay, great.
Oh, and speaking of, has there been an allocation of the FY26 discretionary funds? Because if not, we need to do that at the next meeting as well.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Got it. All right, we will wrap this up quickly so we have time to prepare. Any other comments or questions regarding the scholars, the grants? Okay. All right, so with that, we have come to the end of tonight's agenda. Council, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Dixon. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any comments or questions before adjournment? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. We're adjourned, and the time is 6:40. Thank you.